Hello captains, welcome back to another video. My name is Adam and this is P3D version 4.3. Now today we are in Florida, sunny Florida, and we are checking out the Miami International Airport. This is Miami International Airport with just the basic, as the sim is now, textures. So this airport here, I believe, has had the Rex Airport's HD sort of update, and that's what we've got. And then whatever P3D throws at it, and whatever global ORBX Global throws at it. So let's get in the plane here, and let's see what we can see now. One thing I have noticed, right, is before I've installed any of the add-ons that I end up installing, you know, the airport looks fine. The airport looks great. It looks completely acceptable. You know, this is exactly fine if you're flying. You know, frame rates are great. But then whenever I install something, frame rates take a slight hit, and it's 50-50 if it looks good or not. You know, like compared to like this is fine, and then you get like the add-on which looks great, and then there just might be something about it that's like, you know what, if I hadn't installed it, I'm not going to really miss it. You know, for me, this is totally acceptable. I'd fly into this from where I'm looking now, and it'd be totally fine. So, saying all that, let's take off. We've got Active Sky with Rex Skyforce 3D and Inventex textures, all providing our weather for us. Our frame rates are kind of steady at 45 to 50. I believe I'm on the runway. And let's thunder down, and let's take this bird to the air. And let's see what we can see. So, having a look around the airport, you know, we're going to do a quick fly around of the airport. You know, it all looks fine. There's the cargo version of the airport there. Got a UPS bird there that I can see. You know, textures are looking just okay. I mean, you know, they're totally acceptable. These are totally acceptable textures from Rex that are being provided. Now, here is where we get like, oh yes, it's very flat, because MegaScenery is providing the scenery everywhere else. So until we get to like 3,000 feet, or even until we get to 2,000 feet, really, textures are going to look a bit, you know what I mean? And I've been searching the forums because I've wanted my Terraflora trees and ORBX trees to be placed on top of the MegaScenery maps, and I've been looking for a fix for that. Which, unless I actually get dedicated auto-gen placement software and kind of map the trees to the auto-gen to the textures of MegaScenery, then there is no real way you can do that. There's ways you can fake it, but there's not ways that it can be done within the sim, like by going through the config file and activating something again. And it's a shame, because without the trees, everything really does look flat at low altitudes. So here, you know, it's okay, but it's flat. You know, them trees don't look 3D, you know, but the buildings, compared to the buildings, they look fine, you know. But things could look better. See, now we're starting to look a little bit more acceptable at these higher altitudes, you know. So when we get up to 2,000 feet, which is where I'm approaching, things will look okay. But then as soon as we go fly over the airport, things are going to start to look flat again compared. And this is, for me, just like, if I'm in a 737 flying at 20,000 feet above, Florida, then it's going to look fine. It's actually going to look really good, you know. But in a C-152 flying at like 5,000 feet, it's going to look, or even at 2,000 feet, which is where we're going to be now, it's not going to look as great as it's, you know, like, you can definitely tell the airport here, you know, compared to the rest of the scenery. Now the upshot of MegaScenery is when you're flying, see here, you can tell airport MegaScenery. But the upshot is when you do fly MegaScenery, you do get better frame rates than when you do fly anything else, just simply because there's no buildings, no trees, so there's less for the computer to draw in the sim. So you end up having a better, sort of smoother performance, you know. So now that we're at 2,000 feet, let's have a look out the window. See, that looks for me totally acceptable. That's nice. I like that, you know. The weather's a bit nah, but the view we have is absolutely fine when we look down like that. You know, the airport integrates really well with the surrounding mesh. We still get buildings off to the distance there. We better keep it at 2,000 acres. So there's a cloud layer. We do still get some buildings that MegaScenery allow into the textures here. But, yeah. Now, the main reason I'm pointing out MegaScenery is because the next part of this video is the Miami International that's going to be changed, because I've got the add-on Miami X from Aerosoft. So this area here is really going to change. In fact, the surrounding area as well, because I believe this is Miami City down here, and I believe that it also takes care of Miami City as well. For me, this is totally fine. I'd be happy with this just as much. And like, the textures here aren't as great, but the runway textures are totally fine. They're okay. You still get scoring marks here at the jetways, and that's because Texture Direct are handling that. The runway, the airport itself, sorry, is totally fine. I'm absolutely happy with what I see. It's a little bit windy. We seem to be getting knocked about here. Let's do a turnaround now. Let's do a low fly over the airport. We'll come in a little bit low. We need to pull up a bit too fast here. So here's the airport. So now MegaScenery is looking a little bit blah, but the airport looks absolutely fine. Let's just fly through the airport here without trying. There's some flaps up here. There we go. See, the textures now here, they do kind of, I think MegaScenery textures are popping through. They kind of do look a bit blah, but the actual airport itself looks, you know, reasonably detailed, quite good, you know. Totally happy with that. You know, that's very, very nice. Now, I think this is P3D building here, and then this one here is the Rex Airports HD. I could be mistaken, but I think that's what they're doing. Is these buildings at the outside are also Rex HD. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I know the terminals of the gates, or the gates of the terminals, they're also Rex HD. Tower looks quite. We'll do a flyby of the tower, and then we'll end the video here. And I will go away and I'll install Miami City X, and we can see the difference. The horizon is very flat because MegaScenery is involved, but it's, you know, it's all looking pretty nice. It's all looking good. Here's the tower. Tower's, you know, rendered very nicely. Nobody's in the tower, I guess. But yeah, there's the tower. Got some nice planes here. MegaScenery have also thrown in some planes here. You can see that's an actual plane and actual stuff, and there's a plane there, DC-10 by the looks of it. So yeah, there we go. Right, now I'm going to go away now, and I'm going to install Miami City X, and we'll see the difference. So shall be right back. Okay, welcome back to the second part of this video now. Miami International. You know, the buildings, looking at it now here, these buildings don't look like they've changed much from what the default stuff was, but there's an airliner there, American Airlines. There's buildings here, and there's trees there. So we can tell that we have changed somewhat. There's more buildings and trees out over here. The landscape doesn't look as flat. Let's get in the plane and see what we see. Let's see over there. I mean, it hasn't changed a great deal, I must say. So let's take off and let's see what it looks like from the air. The runway looks like it's changed, but it looks very similar to the Rex Airport's HD textures on the ground. It definitely has updated the sim, because we didn't have these buildings here off to the left. We didn't have them trees, and there wasn't as many planes in the air in the airport. So texture-wise, these don't look like they've been updated too much, but I can definitely tell that the runways, the taxiways have. That's still MegaScenery by the looks of it, but there's more autogen placed around. So yeah, basically we just have autogen around us here that we didn't have before. Let's see. Let's do a flyby. I don't think that's the tower we flew by before, because there were two towers that we flew by before. So this might be a different part of the airport. So let's turn around on here and see what we see. Frame-wise, frames are, I don't know, about the same, I guess. Now looking at these textures here, these textures don't look like they've changed at all. These still look like them textures from before. I've got to say, I'm struggling actually to see what kind of change for the better it is. That skyline is much more pronounced than it was before, to be fair. I think it's more of a Miami City's update, more so than the airport. I mean, after all, it's called Miami City X. It's not called Miami International, is it? But you can tell that they have had an update. They didn't look like that before. Things do look different here. But yeah, it's more, I think, for the city, which I think maybe, yeah, at least there's autogen everywhere now. I don't know if we're still over MegaScenery land in terms of the patterning underneath or not, but basically now Miami City in the sim, I don't think that is MegaScenery patterning. I think that is the Miami City X from Reswick Designs, you know, input. But Miami City here, there's a lot more buildings. There's a lot more detail than there was before. So it's definitely improved the sim. You know, this is more akin now to New York type of, you know, detail here now with all the buildings and such. Let's go back and do a flyby of the airport. As I say, I don't, you know, it's not so much of a an airport update as it is more so the city. I mean, I think it's looking great and still reasonable frames. Right, here we go. Yeah, definitely has had an update. That definitely didn't look like that before when we flew over in the last video. So there has been an update of some kind. I mean, I wouldn't say it's changed loads, but it definitely has. It does look different. It's a lot more expansive, but looks to be a lot more bigger, a lot more fleshed out. Textures don't look exactly great, but it's like, you know, down in here a bit. But, you know, you're not really going to be seeing that a whole lot. Everything else basically is pretty much the same as it was, you know. Go fly by the tower. Seems like we've only got one tower this time. Don't know what happened to the other tower. I guess the other tower got knocked down. Hey, where's the tower? There it is. Tower is rendered very nicely. So there we go. That's Miami City X. I don't know how far out the scenery goes. I can see it out to here, but then my scenery, the way I got my settings, would end there anyway. So I say I do like the update because now I've got 3D buildings over this area. So if I was to fly into Miami, you know, I'd have MegaScenery over the state of Florida, making it look great. But then when I fly into Miami, I've now got my autogen like I wanted before. And this mapping here is very MegaScenery-esque. It's probably not as detailed or I wouldn't say detailed, but I wouldn't say it's as sharp as MegaScenery. I mean, there seems to be a conflict here of this is definitely a different tile laid over this one. It seems to be actually filling in different tilings over this. So I don't know what this is compared to this bluer shade version. That looks a bit strange. Same over here. Very strange indeed. But yeah, very happy with what I have. So there we go. That's Miami. I guess over here is MegaScenery. That's where it must end. The software, the add-on. And then we've got the MegaScenery stuff over there. So yeah, right. Well, there we go. That's the end of this video. In the next video, so basically that's Florida done. I have got another airport for Florida, but we'll leave Florida now and we shall head over to California. So in the next video, we'll be in California with ORBX showing us what it can do before we install LAX and see the difference between Los Angeles X, which is the city add-on, and then KLAX from Dream Team, which is just the airport add-on, and we'll see the changes throughout. So thanks for watching, guys, and keep flying.